Welcome to the fastest daf in town, Tanil Masechtas Gittin Daf Tzadi. We're going to begin on Tzadi Amud Aleph by the last Mishnah. This is the last daf. Says the Masnisin. Beis Shammai Oimrim, the famous Machlokas. Beis Shammai says, Li'garish Adam es Ishto Eli Imkin Matzah Davar Ereva. If you find an Ereva mamish that she was unfaithful, so that's a valid reason to divorce her, but no other reason. Shnemer Ki Matzah Erevas Davar. So the pasuk says. Beis Hillel Omrim, Efil Hikdicha Tavshila, even if, let's say, she's not the best cook. Shnemar Ki Matzah Erevas Davar. So we're going to see the different meanings of the word ki. But anything which is Erevas Davar, which is anything, says Rashi, Oshar Davar Sirachain, anything that disturbs you. Even if you find another woman who is even more beautiful, that's acceptable. She's not found favorable in your eyes. Now, it doesn't mean you're supposed to divorce her in that situation, but you're allowed to. We'll see whether or not this is something what is considered to be good behavior or not. In the Gemara says the Gemara. So Tanya, Amr Beis Hillel Beis Shammai, V'lo Kfar Nemer Davar. It already says any matter. Ki Matzah Erevas Davar. So therefore, Ki Matzah Erevas Davar. So the word Davar means really any matter. So Amr Beis Shammai V'lo Kfar Nemer Erevas, which sounds like only if it's an Ereva, if she did something inappropriate. So Amr Beis Hillel is Im Nemer Erevas V'lo Nemer Davar. If it only said that, not Davar, Hayisa Imim Mishum Ereva Teitze Mishum Davar Lo Teitze L'Kach Nemer Davar. So Beis Hillel says no. The fact that his davar is coming to tell you if it only said Ereva, then you're right. It would only be Ereva. But why does it mention davar? It means for other things too, like for example, burning your food. The ilu nemer davar. If it only said davar, v'lo nemer Ereva, hayisa aimer mishum davar tinasel acher. Based on some other reason, she can marry someone else. But if it's because of an Ereva, maybe she's not allowed to marry anyone else. So kach nemer Erevas. It's coming to tell us, according to Beis Hillel, that she can divorce her. The question is she allowed to get remarried? The answer is yes. Beis Shammai, hi davar my avdili. What does he do with that davar? So nemer kan davar v'nemahon davar. Al pi shnei edim al pi shleish edim yokum davar. It says whether there are 2 or 3 witnesses, you will able to establish this. So malhon b'shnei edim. Avkan b'shnei edim, says Rashi. Berurim enu nesera salav mishom ereva el be'edis berura. So it's necessary to aser. You mamish have to have witnesses. You can't just assume that she was engaged in infidelity. That is not enough. You actually would have to have witnesses. Beis Hillel miksev ereva badavar. Beis Shammai miksev o ereva o davar. That's either one. Beis Hillel hachiksev erevas davar mashmahachi mashmahachi. It means either one. Rabbi Kiva Omer fil matzah acheres. Even if you find another woman. So b'may kimifki. The word ki in the pasuk is meshamish b'dal l'shainis. It could actually have 4 different meanings. The word ki could mean 4 things. It could mean if, dilma, perhaps, el, but, or deha, because. Now Beis Shammai Savri, Beis Shammai holds v'haya imo timsachin be'enov. That's dafka. If you don't find favor in her eyes, ki matzah erevas davar. What does ki here means? Daha matzah erevas davar. The reason why you do not find favor in her eyes is because you found erevas davar. So according to Beis Shammai, the word ki means because. Rabbi Kiva Savar, who says any woman, ki matzah erevas davar. If you find erevas davar, inami matzah erevas davar. Means if you do, doesn't mean you have to divorce. It's only when you find erevas davar. It's if you do, because other reasons also would apply. So Amar Rapapa Rava lo matzah lo ereva v'lo davar mahu. What is the din? Okay, stop for a second. Let's see question 13. Ki mishamish b'dal loshonos be'ezel loshon misparish b'pasav haya im lo timsochen be'enav ki matzah erevas davar. So it could. Beis Shammai's Hill says it means ki because, and Rabbi Kiva says if. Okay. Fine. So now the question is, back in the Gemara, Amli Rapapa L'Rava Lo Matzah Ba V'Lo Erva V'Lo Davar Mahu. So says Rashi, This is according to Beis Hillel. Do we allow you to divorce her? Mi karfinon le lahadura olo. Do we, if let's say you did divorce her, do we say, you didn't divorce her under right pretenses? You had no right to divorce her. So what's the din? Obviously, this is not a question on Rabbi Akiva, because he holds anyone. You can marry any woman. And you don't have to have a good reason to divorce her. And therefore, if you divorce, it's okay. Certainly not going to force you to get remarried. So this is going to be question 14, TA 28, TB 29. So when it comes to oinus, so a person is ma'anis a naira basula, a woman who is a virgin, and the din is one of the punishments is that you have to marry her. Only, of course, if if the father and she agree to it. If they refuse, no, because rape is about control, and therefore the punishment is you lose all control. You lose control whether you want to marry her, and you lose control whether you're ever allowed to divorce her. You're never allowed to. Kol yama ba'amoid b'hichser koi, which means you are never allowed to divorce her. Therefore, if you do, you have to marry her again. You're not allowed to. So this is only there, but in any other situation, even if you weren't supposed to divorce her, nonetheless, we're not going to force you to remarry her. It's only by oinus. That's the answer to question 14. Let's look at let's see how they're writing in question 14. Mid israch kra gabi oinus shigirish l'chayvo ba'asei. You have to take her back. So it's only dafkin when it comes to oinus. Let's say your heart is to divorce her, and she's there. So what is the din in that situation? Look at Rashi. Mahu yesh einish bedavar olo. Is it an isser or not in this situation? If your das is your libo's legarsha, that you have the intention to divorce her, but she's still with you and you're having tashmish with her. So karile, we read upon you al tachraish al riachara. You should not think upon your neighbor, your friend, bad. Who yoshev levetach itoch, and you're sitting with tranquility with them. In other words, you shouldn't pretend that you have a caring, loving relationship if it's not true. So if you already have das to want to divorce your wife, you're not allowed to have tashmish with her anymore. If she doesn't know the difference and she thinks that the marriage is fine and she wishes to be intimate with you, you're still halachically, you should not do so. Tanya hayramer oimer kashem shahadeyos b'machol kach deos b'noshim. Just like there's das, there's different approaches to characteristics when it comes to food. Deos, says Rashi, b'nei adam chalukos be'istinios shel Michael Mishnah. Some people are very particular; they're picky about certain foods. Yeshu istinis for katz b'Michael machmas mias muat. Even the smallest food, which is not prepared in the most beautiful way, if there's some tiniest speck of dust on it, that's it. Some people are like in between. Some people don't care at all. They'll have the 10-second rule 10 minutes later with the food that fell on the floor. So when it comes to relationships, there's some people who have different levels of tolerance also when it comes to relationship with women. A fly could fall into your cup. The zarku, you take it out. You're not going to drink it. He's like, oh, this is gross. Zuhi midas pipus ben Yehuda. This is someone who is an extremist. Shahaya noyel b'vnei ishto. He would lock up his wife. V'yoytza and leave. He would basically not allowing her to see the world. Says Rashi. Bala shel Miriam, the husband of Miriam, Migadla Nishaya Haya. When he would leave the house, he would lock the door. She shouldn't speak to anyone. This is terrible. Eva nechnesas minehem umzana tachtav. You think that you're doing the right thing by overly protecting your wife. That's going to push her away. Very interesting point. That's what's going to cause her to be mazana. That's one extreme. So some people, when you have this fly, they'll throw it away and then they'll drink the cup. Zui midas kol adam. This is the normal way. Shemadaberes yemacheha ukreveha omanicha, that she can speak with her siblings and with her relatives, and he lets her. He doesn't cause any problems. Like, you live your life and have conversation with normal people. It's fine. But of course, it doesn't mean you should act inappropriately and start talking with married men and engaging in inappropriate behaviors. Sometimes a fly will fall in. You'll be like, oh, wow, this is great. I'm going to actually eat the fly too, right, with the drink. Zuhi midas adam ra. This is also an evil person. Sharoyas ishto yatsa v'roisha perua v'tayva b'shuk. He sees his wife engaging in all these immoral activities, going out, her hair is uncovered, which means, I guess nowadays, she's unbelievably immodest in her dress. She's tayva b'shuk. She sews in the marketplace. Nothing wrong with sewing, but the point is that she's involved in just being out in the open. Uperuma mishnei sidadeha, says Rashi, etzel atzili yadeha kederch adoimius shibisfaras shibisara nira misidehen, that basically she allows her clothes to be very revealing. She takes baths with men. So the same place. Zu mitzvah min atayra legarsha. It's a mitzvah to divorce such a woman. Such a woman you should not be remarried to. This is not a normal marital marriage. A marriage doesn't mean you're controlling. This is saying this is unacceptable behavior. So if you have a relationship where the woman is still acting like she's a penuya, so in 2023, in a lot of the social media, women are like, oh, my boyfriend's so controlling, all I want to do is go out to the clubs with my girlfriends. This is unacceptable behavior. This is not normal behavior. That if she does this, obviously she's getting male attention, and this is not a healthy thing in a relationship. And therefore, mitzvah legarsha, you shouldn't be in a relationship with such a person. And it says, okay. And Rashi says, it says, kishin loifshin bigdeihem. They're wearing clothes, but still it's inappropriate. Hakasiv kara acher. So why does the Torah call it another man? She's going to another man. Weimer she'en ze ben zugel rishain. It's referring to, this is not the first marriage. Zeha yotzi rishon mebeisai, v'zu hichnis rishon l'tach beisai. So this one brought bad from his house, and this one's bringing bad into his house, right? So he's basically causing problems for himself. Zocha, if he's smart, shnei sheni shilcha, then he'll send her away. The second guy is going to pick up on this bad behavior too, and he's going to have her sent away. And if he doesn't pick this up, he's going to end up being buried. He's going to get killed. He's going to die. He's going to be so stressed out from her. It's worthy that this guy should die. That he took bad from this guy's house, and he brought her into his house. So if you see someone that has negative and bad behavior, there's a very good chance that they're going to end up having bad behavior as well. So if in a first relationship there's something wrong, so the chances are that that person is going to bring that same baggage into the second relationship. Ki sanei shalach. So it says send away, and it's hated. What does that mean? Rabbi Yehuda Omer, im sanesa shalach. If she is hated, then you can send her away. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Senui hamashaleach, the other way around. The one who sends her away is hated by Hashem. Not that if you hate her, send her away, but if you send her away, you are viewed in a negative way by sending her away. When it comes to your first relationship, Eishes Nurim, Rashi says, so that's something that you should not send her away. You should try to work on that relationship because it's a very intense, emotional, close relationship. And therefore, if you send away your first wife, then the one who sends her away will be hated. However, Bezug Sheni, in which also we unfortunately see that the divorce rate is much higher by a second marriage than the first, and you can understand why, because, again, obviously there was a reason why the person got divorced in the first place. Not always their fault, but sometimes it is. So, therefore, when it comes to Zug Sheni, if you find something negative, then it's okay to send her away. If you divorce your first wife, even the Mizbech will shed tears. That it's covered with tears, the Mizbech, tears and sorrow. That there's no longer being brought the mincha. It says, why did this happen? That Hashem is testifying between you, and here's the key words, and your wife of your youth. That the Mizbeach cries because of the wife of your youth, Asher ata begadta ba, that you have acted treacherously with her. So this again shows you the difference between your Zug Rishon and Zug Sheni. Gittin, Adkan.